How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today I've just got a little bit of a kind of silly throwaway mission, I suppose. I was running a little bit short on time, so I didn't really have much time to get stuck into a proper mission. Yeah, I'm doing this one called Bad Trip. To be honest, it keeps popping up for me all the time anyway. It's like auto-recommending it to me, Osman. So yeah, I've got to go and rescue a Hummer H2. So for this one, I've got the GMC Brigadier 8000, which is like a DLC truck. Got to go kind of up to this near the gateway, cut through the trees and everything. There's like a little narrow path running down there, and then yeah, there's like a Hummer at the bottom of some rocks really, which I hadn't attempted this mission before. To be honest, tonight the editing's a little bit screwy. I was kind of half zoned out for some reason. I didn't sleep too well, so I feel pretty tired, and yeah, I was hardly paying attention half the time to what I was doing. My cat was floating around as usual. SnowRunner sensor went off. Yeah, got the Brigadier 8000. First thing I noticed, unless it was possibly partly me, but the steering feels a little weird on it. I'm not sure if it's because I've got the tuned custom suspension, which is probably, I didn't really need raised necessarily, let alone the tuned custom. Probably raised just to get the biggest size tyres on. But yeah, I don't know, it almost feels a little bit boaty, and I think it was like stepping out the back end a little bit, sort of quicker than the steering could keep up, so every now and then I do go a little bit sort of wiggly flying across the road. Pay my road tax, you got to use all of it. And yeah, I've got this like, well, this was what I was going to say, to be honest, was it's called like an articulated loading platform or something on this game. But yeah, I've never particularly probably paid enough attention before. I'm surprised tonight was the night I noticed it. But yeah, you got like this loading platform. I think it's called like the articulated loading platform, and then you got the other one that's the beaver tail. And yeah, I've never really noticed before. This one's definitely less roomy overall, because the other one, when you've got the beaver tail, you can kind of leave that flat as well, so you could easily fit, for example, like the Loaf. It's a perfect example, and the Hummer. Along there, by the way, I got in 8th gear for a bit. It was definitely getting a little bit squirrely and skidding around on that. It's around the same section. It kind of kicks you out of 8th. It's one of the few places that just let you drop the hammer a bit. Oh, you can see there, in fact, yeah, I think this might have actually lasted a little bit longer. Yeah, that's what she said. With the, like, just before it kicked me out of 8th gear, but in general, that's one of the few places that actually let you wind up to that speed. Got over that bit pretty well, clipped the tree a bit, but I'm not really blaming the truck for that, because that tree is a bit of a awkward pain in the arse. I've seen that someone said in the comments the other day that it's true, like the trees, particularly in the burned forest section, are like magnetic, and they want to stick to your truck and just lock onto it. They're yeah, right nightmare in there. It was close. I was seriously tempted again to just hit the bank and do a jump. I probably should have, to be honest. At the last second I kind of well, I was swerving, but yeah, as you can see, the thing started to tip. To its credit, I suppose it didn't just immediately dig in and flip. There was actually like a little chance to rescue it. See there as well with the steering, it just suddenly snaps on you and it goes flying left or right. There's another little bit as well. You can normally get top speed, which get a little bit of a drift going on here, so just about catch it. Nearly though. I reckon if I kept it floored there, I might have hit that barrier and possibly rolled. I mean, again, like I say, this mission, I was even on an hour and like, shall I try and re-record it and that, but to be honest, I'm sort of running low on time, and yeah, I feel pretty tired. I had to go to a physio appointment yesterday just to see about my knee and that, so that's kind of thrown me out of whack a bit. And then at this point, kind of when you leave the road, you can see the little track running along. I could have drove the truck down there, but I don't know. I kind of wanted to reverse up. I mean, my idea on this one is the GMC Brigadier is like the actual rescue vehicle, but I mean, I'm going to bring a goddamn horse anyway, because he's always the ideal thing for the job. And yeah, the path I'm going to go down is like pretty narrow and all the rest of it. And yeah, Loaf's like the perfect little scout vehicle. Send him in, he'll retrieve the goods, and then we're good to go. The tree is not going to stop him from reversing. Picks the line he wants and he goes for it. And like I say, yeah, I could have drove the GMC down here, but for one, I wasn't sure if I'd be able to turn it around that easily and blah blah blah. And yeah, like I say, it was already sort of the plan to send the loaf in. On the map, this bit looked a bit of a tight section as well because it's got that pipe kind of that stops there. But to be fair, a truck would have easily got through there. Any excuse for a bit of loaf time though, it's always good. Look at him go. Get yourself a loaf. It's just eyeballing where that track as well runs off to the left. I'll have to inspect that one. I can't really see where it would go, unless it goes maybe back to the water tower. Yeah, I'd only say never. I've probably been here before when I was scouting the map, but certainly not paid attention. Yeah, it's like at the bottom of a big drop. I'm not sure if those 3 logs were supposed to be a parking spot or something, but the loaf's just drove over them and destroyed that one. Yeah, so I didn't really know. I thought it would kind of be about where my loaf is now, but it's a lot further down there, so I wasn't going to reach it from the top. Yeah, reversing, send the loaf down. I was checking with the repair points, but all of it actually looks like everything's damaged, but not that bad. Nothing's like broken. So I didn't repair it at the minute, just because I thought, as and when I'm towing it out, if I fix it now and then damage it again, it'll probably make me, like, you know, charge me again for the damage sort of thing. Now, I started the engine on it, and I just clicked on the map there to change the time, and it must have flashed up in that time saying out of fuel, which I didn't realise at the minute. So when I started trying to tow it now, I was more looking like, why is the Hummer kind of not assisting in any real way? Because I just assumed I'd turn the engine on. I can kind of see now, even though the writing is tiny, they could do, I've said it before, but they could do with making the writing bigger on the screen. Yeah, I believe like the Hummer's stalled because of lack of fuel, which, my mistake, novice error, I didn't specifically check the fuel. But one thing as well, even like attempting the zombie winch sort of thing, it's always awkward in reverse. It never really wants to work properly anyway, so I sort of just drove down here, thought I'll tow it from the front, and that's when I now turn the engine on again and realise out of fuel. That'll be the problem. The old loaf though, he's always prepared. I'll give it 20 litres. I could have given it more. I was like, man, no, I'll see how I feel. And at this point it must just be hooked on a rock, because I was looking, it's only doing rear wheel drive, but it doesn't really look like it's stuck. I think its front left wheel is probably kind of wedging between the 2 rocks, and then it's just to the point where it's like the wheel is fatter than the rocks, so it's just not going to let it move anywhere. Because obviously, yeah, the Hummers are the ones that are still to this day. Every now and then I give it a little tug, and yeah, there's loads of Hummers stuck in all the cliffs and that over on White Valley. And let's say every now and then, if I'm going past with a truck, I'll stick a winch on it, try and pull one out of the cliff, but they're yeah, they're stuck in there pretty well. But yeah, once I was towing this thing from the front, and actually got some fuel in it, and it sort of started its engine and all the rest of it, it was coming along nicely. And to be fair, I think overall the loaf plan worked out well, because the GMC certainly wouldn't be doing too well, like going down there or getting back up, I reckon. Whereas the loaf, he's nimble, so he's still got turning of a housefly. He made that corner in the last second. It looks like I could have drove up either way, but I think this is the way I came down, so I was like, I'll just cut over that big fat rock to my left before, well, I don't know, in case it gets in the way at the top or anything. That's the, I suppose that's the hardest part done. That's definitely what she said. And then yeah, at this point, I just thought, sorry, I'll fix it up. I shouldn't really damage it now, just towing it from like here to where I'm going. For some reason, started trying to give me a little nudge. It's trying to give me a little loaf boost. Fill it up with fuel as well, even though I kind of realise at this point, like, god damn it. Now when I get there, it'll have like 79 fuel in it or something. You know, yeah, while I remember, with the live stream later, I'm not 100% sure so far. I don't know if I'll end up doing one or not. I might go on the game and test it. I've just been a little bit busy the last day or two as well, and like I say, with that physio appointment kind of thrown me completely out of whack. But yeah, I'll go on the game and see if it's still kicking me out. then I might end up skipping it. But I'll put a message on there either way. But I'm just sort of mentioning it because YouTube's pretty slack with like sending notifications out and everything. Be nice if there was a way, like on this Hummer at the minute, because I'm just towing it and I'm not able to actually get in the vehicle, it's just driving in two-wheel drive. It'd be quite cool if there was a way to actually just, like the vehicle behind you, I mean generally you're going to want all-wheel drive if you can help it, unless you were trying to save fuel or something. But yeah, be able to put like the diffs on and all that sort of stuff, because it's always one of them where it sort of reverts back to like the most minimal things, so it'll turn sort of everything off if the option's there. And then I think that's why sometimes when you're doing a road train it can be particularly slow. But yeah, Lo4f, we got him back to here. To line that up a bit better, I'll just cut this out because it's slow as heck operating that platform thing, whatever the hell it wants to call it. It's funny because random, but that time when I was pulling it with a winch, it drove on pretty nicely. I only sort of noticed that because a little bit later on I need to reload it again, and yeah, it was being a lot more awkward for some reason. Almost makes me truck wheelie. We've got it. I mean, again, you can make this mission a hell of a lot quicker. Just take something like, I don't know, a Tiger or the goddamn horse. Yeah, just yoink it out the rocks and that, and then drive it straight back. But yeah, I just kind of figured as it was a truck rescue one, and I rarely take these sort of platform type add-ons out, so I thought I'd give it a go, try and be a bit realistic about it while I had the chance. And I was already telling myself, right, don't drive like a maniac, and then I started building up speed and I already couldn't help myself. And you see it nearly tipped there, but again, I suppose to its credit it got pretty boaty and over to the side, but it's not like it wants to tip sort of thing. But again, yeah, the steering's certainly, I don't know what it is, it sort of feels like the steering's quite slow. Like if you go to correct a drift or whatever, it feels like it takes a little while before it kicks in. And then now as well, well, I kind of went a bit wide and hit that barrier there, but yeah, I got up into 8th again, so I was flooring it towards the jump. But on this side there's kind of rocks in the way, so you sort of hit them and it deletes all your speed. When you come down from that way on that hill, there's no rocks on the roundabout to slow down really. It actually works as like quite a nice smooth ramp. You don't really like dig the front sort of lower bumper of your truck into it or anything. I've not actually managed to jump the whole X blade or anything yet. I'm pretty close. I still think White Valley is me go-to for throwing something off like a giant cliff or whatever, doing big jumps. But that one is pretty good. I do quite like it. It'd be nice if it's a little bit of a straighter road leading up to it. And then yeah, now you can see there's a good example though of like the back end just steps out pretty quick. I think it might be that to a degree. Which I suppose with this Hummer on the back, it's probably like a bit of a pendulum at the back as well. And I kind of got lucky really, because obviously sort of both tipped, but my truck was just propped up to the point where it was like it wasn't quite stalling the engine, so I was able to get myself out of it. I was trying to be lazy at this point and just see if the front wheels kind of hooked over my platform thing. I think I could have like yoinked it on there a bit with the winches, but it was not having it, to do it the old-fashioned way. You see, that's the sort of thing. If it had caught me out there, I would have had to have gone back and got the Lo4f. And I would have. My God, I would have. Yeah, if I edited it out there because it was just that platform thing takes so long to move. But yeah, when I was trying to pull the Hummer up onto the platform with the winch that time, it was just, I don't know. It was like its handbrake was on that, and it was not wanting to move anywhere. Which someone did say in the comments as well the other day. Again, with the comments, by the way, I ordered a charger and it's ended up being just another, I don't know, they're like a 1 amp charger, and I need a heavy duty one that's like a 3 amp charger. So my phone's still bordering on flat as a pancake. Yeah, when I've ordered another one when I get the charger. my phone will actually be able to hold a bit of juice while I'm using it as well. If I leave it like it's all dimmed all the way to the bottom, it's a pain in the arse because I kind of like fiddling around with my phone and just as a bit of a distraction. But yeah, I've got like a crappy normal charger and it just takes forever. Well, it never really gets anywhere. It just sits on like 40-50% if that, and then as soon as I use it, it plummets to like 20% in about 5 minutes. Yeah, with this mission I got a bit confused as well, and to be honest this is one of the only times I didn't really draw a line, like once I'd recovered the Hummer, draw a line from like there back to where I've got to go. But I remembered in this mission it said you've got to drop it off at like, I think it's the ranger's house or something, and that's in like the little town that I just drove through. And I hadn't even looked at this point. I just noticed that the yellow kind of square that it's telling me to take it to is obviously past that town, and yeah, I didn't realise, but there's kind of like a few different stages to this mission. So you got to recover the Hummer, and then I just read it as like, you know, it says repair the Hummer and then drop it off at the ranger station, but it actually says like bring it to the repair centre first and then you've got to fix it. It seems like a bit of an odd extra step, to be honest. It would have made more sense just to go and drop it off kind of like as I drove past the ranger's house. So when I got here though, I clicked onto the mission just to go and check what's going on, and yeah, you can see like deliver it to the repair centre. And I don't know what happens at that point. I've already fixed it up, but when you get here I don't know what it expects you to do. Like I've got to drive into the yellow square, but I don't know if it would have auto fixed it once I drove into there, or if it's assuming now once I'm here I'm gonna spawn a trailer or like a repair trailer or something. Yeah, like I say, it doesn't really make too much sense. They could have just skipped that part of the mission out, really, especially as me obviously I took the goddamn horse, so he was able to repair it anyway. But it is what it is. I drove here, yeah, drove into that box, turned round and now heading back to the ranger's house, so pretty pointless, but not the end of the world. I suppose a little excuse to go driving. But yeah, I'm just not sure, because I'd already fixed this, if I'd actually have to spawn a trailer or whatever there, or if just by getting to that point it would have kind of gifted me a, I don't know, kind of fixed all the damage for free. I still think as well, from when I drove the Dolphin the other day, and having that in high gear, that still felt like it had a bit of a quicker pace. This thing feels a little bit slow, or it's kind of like most others. The Dolphin, if anything, kind of felt like it had got off pretty lightly with, I don't know, they seem to have dropped the top speed of high gear a little bit almost, really. And even on something, well, I don't know, it's the advanced special gearbox, I suppose. I was going to say that new Derry 15C. But yeah, I suppose it's the slower set of gearboxes to begin with. And then yeah, done the mission. It's nearly 4,000, which again, it's just a little like random mission to get done. It's funny though, it says in like the thing there, as your reward you get to keep the Hummer, so you do actually get that, and it says yeah, it can handle any terrain, and it's like, really? When I've just had to go and rescue it and bring it back to you? That's kind of, doesn't fill me with confidence. Get yourself a loaf, he can handle all the terrain. But yeah, that's about it for today though. I hope you enjoyed, I hope that helps. Thanks for watching, thanks to my Patreon members. Get yourself a loaf because he's a goddamn beast, and I'll be back soon.